If you go down to the woods today, you're sure of a big surprise. And it won't be bears. We're in Whakaoriori, Masterton. I've got a little treat for everybody today. I'm at the Millennium Native Forest Reserve. It's not hugely big, this place, and I'll show you on the map. It's got several lakes, and look, here is a picture. There's a lot of kids planting trees in the open space where there was nothing. So that must have been really hard to get this whole place going, and I really want to find out the history of what happened. Back in the early 1990s, this treeless grassland site with its streams and wetlands had little commercial value.
It was just a swampy ground that had cattle beasts grazing, weeds growing everywhere, and it was just full of blackberry and rubbish.
So local resident Warwick Dean from Masterton South Rotary Club made an offer to its owners, the Masterton Lands Trust, to create a reserve planted with native tree species.
And they said, well, give it a go, there's nothing to lose. It wasn't costing them anything, the land was unproductive. They supported it and have done ever since.
Tree planting began by Rotary members and volunteers in 1998, with local farmers using tractors to bore holes and local school children coming to plant young saplings. 30 years later, the transformation has been quite radical.
Well, the seedlings were obtained locally, so there were plants that would have grown here originally, and the seedlings were gathered from private residentials, Mount Holsworth, and then they were propagated in our own sheds.
For the past 2 decades, the local community has been helping maintain and develop the reserve, including using its own boat to clear the weeds and ivy from the islands on the lake. One of the driving forces behind the Army of Volunteers is Christine MacDonald.
Is it a tree or is it a person? It's my happy place. I love that. It's fresh air, it's peaceful, and the people who come through here are just happy. They're happy to be out in the open. You hear the birds, you feel gentle breezes rather than strong winds usually. You can feel the plants breathing, the fresh air.
Maintaining the reserve involves a variety of tasks, including sustaining the crisscrossing 1.8 kilometres of tracks.
To develop the tracks on a system where you would never really go in a straight line. So you're always turning corners and getting new vistas and new clumps of trees and different species. But you don't actually know that there's someone just like 5 or 10 metres through the bush on another track.
But the journey to create this lush native forest in open land and without wind protection has not been without problems.
A lot of natives don't like that. They like growing under established trees, and so the first few years they lost almost everything they planted. Apparently there was a huge die-off.
After going back to the drawing board, quick growing tree species were planted to give shelter. These were cut back once the native trees reached around 3 metres.
We're trying to showcase what the natural cover of the Wairarapa would have been before we came and cleared it all. Developing something like this will enable a far greater range of people to come through and get that sense of just how majestic the native vegetation is.
I'm gonna have a go.
Oh, we need to spin.
It's like a jungle in here. Oh. Oh look, I've struck a rock.
If you struck a rock, just move a few centimetres. Give you that one.
This is my first tree that I've planted in the reserve.
Have you put the fertiliser in the hole?
I haven't put the fertiliser in the hole.
Give him the sack. Yep.
Turn it over. Have a look at those roots. Look at that.
Perfect.
And I put it in there. There we go.
Yep. Excellent.
Thanks. That was actually very satisfying. I enjoyed that.
When I walk around, it just gives me pride that something I sort of encouraged other people and started, and that it's now come to what it is and what it could be.
With thousands of trees, shrubs, ferns and grasses planted over nearly 30 years, the reserve is now at a point where it has started to regenerate itself. With native birds and a flurry of invertebrates, eels and skinks all making it their home.
It's a place of life, and I just want to share that with people. I want people to experience just the peace and tranquility. I want parents to bring their children. I want families to come and just enjoy it, because it's just a wonderful place to be. My happy place.
Phil Stebbing, Local Focus.